Hi, I'm Cheryl Kagan, very proud to be the Senator for Gaithersburg and Rockville. Welcome to this very special edition of Kibbitzing with Kagan, brief conversations with people I find fascinating. As part of my series, chatting with people who are running for Congress in the 6th Congressional District, I'm delighted to welcome April McClain Delaney to chat this afternoon. April, thank you so much for making the time.
I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you and kibitz.
There we go. So I am starting everyone off. Let me just say first that, as I've already told you off screen, that no one has seen these questions, that they are the same questions in the same order. There are no gotcha questions, and this is just a brief opportunity for everybody to get to know folks better. So I start everybody off with 2 minutes to talk about who they are, why they're running, what they hope to do in Congress, anything you'd like. 2 minutes, and the timer starts now. You may begin.
So thank you, Cheryl, for doing this. You know, I am really running because I care about the future that my kids, my Gen Z kids that I birthed, and future grandkids, about the world that they're going to inherit. And I really, I am the daughter of an Idaho potato farmer. I have spent a lifetime in Washington, it seems 30 years, working in first as a lawyer, then in Rockville, Maryland for a satellite company, a law firm. But I spent 15 years working really on issues of tech and media and how media impacts kids' health and well-being and their mental wellness. And then I worked in the Biden administration rolling out rural broadband, but also, all aspects of telecommunications. So why am I doing this? Common sense, common ground to figure out how we can get stuff done in Washington, which is hard, standing up against MAGA extremism, but also figuring out those ways in which we can roll up our sleeves. And I've spent a lot of time over the last 30 years really figuring out how to convene and to drive results to get things done, which I think is really important. And more, I guess even most importantly, about our democracy and how we really have to fortify our democracy, how we have to actually think about how technology impacts with deep fakes and all types of different misinformation, but really how we can build community. And we can really start to engage because there is a lot of rage across this country, but I think there's also a lot of good communities, like in Frederick, where I am at my office right now at my campaign headquarters, which has got an amazing community. And this is a really competitive district. The Republicans are coming in hot for this with Trump running for the Senate. We really have to keep the seat blue. I think I have the resources to be able to do it. I think I have the leadership to be able to lean on, and I really want to work on, good living wage, transportation, AI, and technology choice, because I have 4 daughters, and coming together.
Okay, dynamite.
3, 2, 1.
That was perfect. All right. I'd like to start off with asking you for 3 adjectives that you would choose to describe Congress.
Partisan. Challenging, impactful.
Okay. Why are you a Democrat?
I'm a Democrat because I believe that we really need to chart a path towards a more equitable, brighter, and more prosperous future for all Americans. And I spent a lot of time in the Biden administration really working on issues of equity, like digital equity with respect to broadband, but also how we can have all of us have opportunity, education, and resources to thrive. And I believe that each of us have an obligation to really uphold our democracy and to work together to effectuate change.
Okay. Tell us something that you have learned on the campaign trail so far.
It's interesting. This is a microcosm of America. As I talk about this purple district where there's not a lot of purple people, very red, very blue, a little bit of overlap. But what I've really learned is that there's a great deal of community here. And that particularly, I look across not only the Democratic Party, but really in Frederick, I've really been so impressed at the vision that if you look at Ron Young and you look at looking down the road, if you articulate a vision of where you want to go and you get public, private, government working together. You can really help that. And they've done that here and in certain places throughout the district, which gives me hope.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the 6th congressional district?
Well, there are several challenges. I think it's hard to say which is the biggest challenge. I think that there are, I would say affordable housing is one I hear about tremendously, and inflation, obviously, which dovetails into a good working wage and trying to drive investment here, which I hope to do with the Biden administration. And also transportation, which is also infrastructure. I find that, people are really concerned about transportation. And then I would say, a lot with healthcare and mental wellness and health, which is a big issue with me with our youth and kids.
Okay. We're going to shift to some policy issues. Could we start off with telling us your position on abortion rights?
Well, I have 4 daughters from ages 31 to 16. So I am very, very pro-choice. And I can't believe that they would grow up in a country with less choice than I have. And as you look at Arizona and Texas and my home state of Idaho, it's frightening. I would codify immediately Roe v. Wade, but also expand maternal health services more broadly, because I think we need to, particularly for those in rural areas. It's important.
Okay. What would you prioritize to address the climate crisis?
It's really, well, it's very interesting. We really have to take down carbon. So there's a lot of different ways I think we're going to have to innovate our way out of it. So we're going to have to really invest in a lot of R&D. Although
Research and development.
Research and development, excuse me.
Mhm.
I think the Inflation Reduction Act was great in terms of really driving a lot of renewables and infrastructure investment. It actually will be very helpful for the 6th district, including Mountain and Western Maryland and Frederick. And also, I think eventually we're going to have to price carbon, because as we price carbon, it's really going to really put a tax on the polluters and drive different entities towards more renewables. So I think it's going to be in tandem, but there's got to be a transition also. I mean, I think it's going to be hard, and I am concerned about our electrical grid, both with broadband and all of the devices that are going to be drawing from it, but also with our electric vehicles. And so, how we balance that and that smart development and that transition is going to be, the devil's going to be in the details.
Okay. How would you start to address gun safety?
Oh, my Lord. This one is a hard one. I think my background, but also my platform is common sense, common ground. And Westmore talks about this. We have to have common sense gun legislation. I think we've really got to start with universal background checks, red flag in terms of mental illness and, those that are not well mentally in terms of firearms. But I really think military assault weapons, we've got to have a ban. I mean, I grew up in Idaho. My dad went duck hunting. He didn't have a military assault rifle and go to a nursery school. I mean, so there's like this whole common sense, common ground way, particularly the 6th district, because some people really love their guns.
Sure.
But, there's a difference between hunting and going duck hunting and an assault weapon. And that is the first step. And I've had personal friends who've lost their children to gun violence. So it is true.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What do you think Congress should be doing to protect or expand the right to vote?
Well, it's very difficult. So to protect, the John Lewis Act, I mean, we've got to look at transparency. We've got to look at, making sure that there's no bias, in how we get to the, fair and transparent elections. But, a big thing that I am, and, a lot of people want campaign finance reform, which of course I am a big believer in, but we also have to look at where we are in this election and make sure that we win this election and then work on these items. But I'm also really concerned because I come as a communications lawyer for many years and worked a lifetime in digital communications. I am very concerned about the fact that we have not updated our Communications Act, well, the Act of 3496, and we really need to look at deep fakes, misinformation, propaganda as it is, and don't underestimate how nefarious foreign entities, China, Russia. China spends $7 billion a year stewing on their cyber soldiers, and Russia 1.5 billion. It's really important in terms of misinformation and looking at how we address that, and also in terms of political disclosures.
Okay. Some of that we did address actually this year in Annapolis, but
But on a federal level, it's as a federal
Absolutely.
member of Congress, we need to do it across. And even, if it says paid for by April McClain Delaney in your broadcast,
there you go.
do it on your social media as well.
There you go. Can you tell us an example, please, of how you've been successful working with someone who's very different from you?
Oh, a lot of times, you did something, with your kids code on health and well-being and digital media with kids. I, for 5 legislative sessions, put forth the Children and Media Research Act, first with Hillary Clinton and Brownback, then Senator Hillary Clinton in 2007. And I go into different legislative offices and say I was a kid partisan, and I would talk how media impacts kids' health and well-being, and how we had to fund new research at NIH to really longitudinally study that, because I believe research is really important to underpinning good policy, whether it be business policy, economic policy, or legislation.
Okay.
And after 5 sessions, finally it went through last year while I was in the Biden administration, and it took bipartisan.
Okay, so we still have a bunch of questions, and
Okay.
we're running out of time here. How, as the member of Congress for the 6th Congressional District, how would you work with state, county, and municipal leaders? Briefly.
Well, I think you have to convene. I think you have to stay in touch. You have to have good constituent relations. You have 3 or 4 different offices throughout the district. You stay in touch, but you also are a convener. You help in terms of there is like transportation, DMV, issues of violence, and you really work to convene public, private, and all of those legislators to shine a bright spotlight on them, even though they're not directly within your purview.
Okay. Which one endorsement, either a person or an organization, are you proudest of?
Nancy Pelosi. I think she's one of the greatest Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi, you're incredible.
Okay. Make a pitch for somebody to contribute to you or volunteer for you.
I feel like I have the campaign that has a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but we'll get things done when we get to Congress, because I believe that when you lift up with common sense, you can really start a movement. And I would love you to come in and volunteer or to be a part of the movement.
There you go. And the last question before we go to our Fast 5, why do you think that you would be the strongest Democratic nominee to make sure that the Democrats hold the seat in November?
Without a doubt, I'm the strongest, because I have over 30 years of public, private, and government experience at a high level to get things done and to really drive coalitions and to convene. And also I'll bring the most resources to bear in terms of communicating that message across the district. And my message is an authentic one, because I'll be able to talk about infrastructure investment I did during the Biden administration into Mountain and Western Maryland, whether it be chips, broadband, different things. And I think that that is a message that resonates across the aisle, that resonates within our own Democratic Party, because we need to have more good paying jobs.
Okay. So April McClain Delaney, it is time for Fast 5. 5 quick questions, 5 quick answers to let folks get to know a little more about you. Question number 1, name a shero or a hero who inspires you.
Hillary Clinton, because of her issues with women's rights.
Question 2, at the end of a long day, what do you do to relax?
I usually go and exercise with my daughter and take our dog or take our dogs, our 2 cavapoos, for a walk.
Okay. Question 3, what is your favorite unhealthy snack food?
French fries.
Okay. Question number 4, tell us something that most people don't know about you.
Other than I'm from Idaho, probably that I always say I'm 1 in a million because there's only a million of us. But probably that I'm a big reader, and I like coffee ice cream.
Okay.
That's my other one.
All right. And the last question, the question I ask every one of my guests, as you may know, is April McClain Delaney, what is your hidden secret superpower? What is a skill or talent you have, something you're really good at that most folks can't do?
I, an incredible connector. I mean, off the charts, like at Commerce, we all had a personality test and there was everybody up here and I was down here. I have this ability to connect people, and communicate, in incredible ways. And that's what I've done my whole life is I like to connect people and lift them and put them together. Because I believe in community and I believe in lifting up others and introducing them.
That's great. Well, April McClain Delaney, thank you for your time. Thank you for engaging in democracy and for taking time off the campaign trail to kibitz with me today. I look forward to
Thank you for what you do also. I mean, incredible. And congratulations on a great session and for your work over the last couple of sessions. So
I appreciate
you
it.
very
Thank
much.
you so much. Stay well. Look forward to seeing you
Thank you.
soon.